Good evening, everyone. Interesting day in the crypto markets. We've got mixed signals with Bitcoin actually turning around despite some increased geopolitical Trump issues in the wider market as a whole. Let's get straight into it. It's not all bad news, but let's break it all down. So first of all, fear and greed index, obviously still terrible, right? 12, we're in extreme fear. Take a look at these two issues in Trump land. So we've got, first of all, Trump announcing a new 10% global tariff as he hits out a deeply disappointing Supreme Court ruling. That is the ruling against his former tariffs imposed. Donald Trump calls the US Supreme Court's decision to strike down his sweeping tariffs deeply disappointing as he announces a new 10% levy on global imports. With a 6-3 majority, the court ruled Trump exceeded his authority when imposed tariffs via a law reserved for national emergencies. They say he needs congressional approval to impose taxes on imports. And as expected, Trump says he will try to reimpose tariffs, but he's yet to spell out the detail. And this is something that we've become quite used to, right? I mentioned this before, Trump dropping these bombshells just going into the weekend. Talking about dropping bombshells, we still have issues in Iran. Trump administration live updates. President acknowledges that he is weighing limited strike on Iran. President Trump told reporters on Friday that he was considering a limited military strike to pressure Iran into a deal. I guess I can say I am considering that. So clearly uncertainty, not yet sure how the market is going to eat it. And like I said, this is what we've become accustomed to, right? Usually these big news releases come out going into the weekend, and then we see the actual resolution on that coming out the other side. It gives markets a little bit of breathing room, but it also gives us that element of surprise, unfortunately. And like anything markets related, when something's happened the same way a couple of times, the sort of surprise element of that tends to go away. Of course, equities, the US stock market, Wall Street is closed. Bitcoin's still open for trading. It's quite interesting. Look what's actually happening here. A bit of a Nike swoosh going on. So we've broken out technically from the downtrend that we've been in since the 15th of February. Downtrend obviously characterized by high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower low, lower high, lower low, and then we have broken this high, okay, 67.5 today, technically breaking us out of that downtrend and into a little technical uptrend. Not a particularly strong one, although arguably not a particularly strong downtrend. And look, I'm not trying to say the market is about to turn around from here, but structurally, that is looking a little bit stronger than it was yesterday. You'll know if you've been paying attention that I am still in my long trade, my leverage long trade. The stop loss for that is not actually a stop loss, but my invalidation for that long trade was coming in at about 65k. We're still in that trade, up about $428 on that one. This was a much bigger position. I got into that trade when we were selling off into this wick here. Quite pleased with that one, actually, all the way down. Got into that on the 6th of February. And the main goal with that trade was just to play the bounce from that, right? The effect when the market is oversold. It's like a ball underwater, and the ball underwater, the deeper you push it, the harder it bounces back up again. It's very hard to trade like that. You're trying to catch a falling knife, essentially, which is notoriously hard to do without cutting yourself and without being injured. But we succeeded in this case. It was a nice clean entry. I had a plan going into that, and we executed on the plan. We've already taken out about $3,000 profit from this trade, and we're just leaving a little bit in. But leaving a little bit in, it should, take from that what you will. It means I'm not clear on what the market is going to do right now, clearly. Yesterday, it looked like we were in a downtrend. The trend is your friend until the end, as they say. And indeed, that did turn around. So now, happy that I left a little bit of money in that trade. But don't take that the wrong way. That is a very small amount of risk. I'm only ever trading with a very small amount of risk on leverage, full stop. But compared to the whole size of that trade, which was very high risk, very unusually high risk, but say for an unusual scenario like this, panic sell basically, we've reduced that to a much smaller amount now. And that will remain on until further notice or until we get invalidated down at 65k. But currently up $400 plus in unrealized profit on that, and about $3,000 in realized profit, which I've taken off the table. So 0.1 BTC, 20x leverage. On the positive side, we have got increased chances today that the Clarity Act gets signed into law before the end of 2026. Quite interesting. Look at the Polymarket odds on this, right? This was as high as 90% yesterday or the day before last. Currently sitting at about 72%. Take from this what you will. Of course, it's Polymarket. It is a platform where the public can vote on real-world events happening, but people are voting with their money in this case. And it's interesting to watch. It's interesting to watch, not necessarily to judge whether or not something is actually likely to happen, but to watch what the majority thinks is likely to happen. Now, those are two separate things, and you can use them in different ways. One of the ways we use what the majority thinks is when we're looking at leverage, for example. Typically, particularly in times of the market when there is a lot of open interest, when there's a lot of leverage in the market, we deduce that a lot of that leverage is made up of retail sometimes, and a lot of the leverage in the market overall, and in any case, right, doesn't matter who it's coming from, tends to get proven wrong, and it's at least open to be wiped out when the market is being manipulated or when big events are happening. Leverage is waiting there in the market to become liquidated. So that's an example of something where we'd look at the crowd going one way and expect the market to do the exact opposite, which happens all the time in crypto. But in this case, we're looking at the likelihood of the Clarity Act getting signed into law by the end of 2026. A few people casting opinions on this outside of Polymarket, which I thought was quite interesting. Perhaps slightly less interesting is Ripple's Brad Garlinghouse, who says the Clarity Bill has a 90% chance of passing by April. Of course, the bill would clarify which digital assets fall under securities law versus commodity futures trading commission oversight. Brad Garlinghouse, being part of Ripple, does obviously have a horse in this race. But nonetheless, this is his take. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse says he now sees a 90% chance that the long-debated Clarity Act will in fact pass by the end of April, and he is citing renewed momentum in Washington. We can get a little bit closer to the source, though. Take a look at this. Senator Bernie Moreno says the US Clarity Act is likely to pass, hopefully by April. This is a very short statement. There's a long article here on TradingView for a very short statement. He's literally quoted as saying, hopefully by April. Yes, just 3 words. But nonetheless, the US Clarity Act, a highly anticipated bill aimed at providing greater clarity, surprise, surprise, for the US crypto industry, could make it through Congress in just over a month, according to the crypto-friendly US Senator Bernie Moreno, hopefully by April, in his own words. That would, of course, be very good for the markets. I don't know if that would individually be good enough to turn this bear market around, but nonetheless, good news is good news. So we've got that on the positive side. We've got geopolitical tensions. We've got Trump issues on the negative side. Taking a look at leverage in the market, okay. The pattern that I've been speaking about leverage overall reducing in the markets, it remains clear. So we can see this on the 30-day time horizon. Still more shorts than longs, which makes sense when sentiment is where it is, right? 12 on the fear and greed index, extreme fear. But you do see the longs creeping in, about $3.94 billion worth. First caveat to this, which is a big caveat, overall leverage is down. That means we're getting closer to the point in the cycle where, very, very hard to choose exactly when this point is, but we're getting close to that point where people stop punting it on the market in either direction. People stop leverage trading in either direction. That, in my opinion, means we are closer and closer to when this has to turn around if history repeats itself or at least rhymes. The first part is just absolute panic, right? You'll see a load of shorts, you'll see people jumping out, people being liquidated. We've kind of seen a lot of that. It's not to say we couldn't see more. And if we zoom this in on the 1 day, yes, there is still long side liquidation risk, even though longs and shorts are balanced right now. $1.71 billion to the downside. So I do think, yes, there is a risk, obviously, that if this short little turnaround in sentiment, right, the short little turnaround, I should say, in trend becomes reversed, we do liquidate some of those longs. That means forced selling onto the market. They won't even know they're doing it. They're just being forced to sell. In many cases, they won't know. The exchange will just do it. That's what a liquidation is. Forced selling is sudden increase in supply on the market. The dynamics of supply and demand dictate the prices must go down quickly when that happens. But overall, less leverage on both sides of the market. That is, in my opinion, a good thing. It means we're getting closer to that point where it becomes basically so hard and so pointless so difficult to manipulate the markets anymore, because there's just so much liquidation risk makes the markets much more volatile, and that makes it much easier for bigger players to manipulate prices around. It's very hard to do that when there's less liquidation risk in the market, when there's less open interest, less leverage in the market, much harder to manipulate prices. That's not the only reason why prices would move, but nonetheless, we've seen this play out cycle after cycle. At that certain point, eventually, when most of the market has just given up and gone home, basically, that is the point at which this actually has a chance to turn around. And we know that big players continue accumulating, spoken about in the last couple of vids. Accumulator addresses, these are the addresses that buy and don't sell, have ramped up their buying. We're seeing big players buying, we're seeing sovereign wealth funds buying, and we're seeing Chinese money investing through US ETFs. Very interesting stuff. Doesn't mean we have to turn around tomorrow, but it does mean overall we're getting closer to that point. If you're interested in how I'm playing this, yeah, don't have a lot of money bet long right now, at least not on the leverage market, but I am ramping up my spot buying. Although little upticks like this, I'm less interested in that. I'm more interested in buying that max pain scenario. But as always, not trying to time the bottom, because that is almost impossible to do with large sums of money at least. High risk to do that. But in any case, just like everything else I've said, not financial advice. Purely my opinion, purely shared for entertainment purposes. But thank you so much for watching. There is plenty more to come. Catch you in the next one. Bye.